Yep. So that's one of my favorite tree stands. This actually blew down this summer. We had, well, this whole piece of property was logged. Not this past winter, but the one before that, so 2 years ago. And that caused a lot of different situations here as far as deer movement. And I had adjusted to that and things were all right. Well, then a tornado came through last summer and knocked down, I think it took out 3 of my tree stands. Most importantly, this one. This was a setup that I really liked. And I still haven't fully adjusted. I did shoot a pretty good deer with a shotgun. There's a island of brush back there in that field. And I just set up a blind in there, but I really need to get another tree stand figured out in this spot. And it's difficult because it's down in a creek bottom and you can see, you know, it goes up the hill there. The wind swirls. And there's no other real good trees. The other good tree I potentially could put a stand in is laying right there. I've already got it cut up for the most part. But yeah, I'm just gonna clean this tree up today, try to get this stand out of this tree because it's grown into it. Might look around a little bit for a new stand situation, but I've done that and I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Really, what I would really like to do is build a blind and put it down in this field. The farmers are cool, but I always feel weird about that. It's permission only property and I don't want to have a situation where I roll a blind or a cart into their field and then they need to come in here and put fertilizer or something down and I'm in the way. And I don't want to cause problems and get myself kicked off, so don't know. Luckily I've still got quite a bit of time because it's the end of January right now, but once they plant I can't get back here, which that won't be for another few months, so we'll figure it out. I just wandered over here just to make sure there was no sheds laying there. But I might have an idea for a stand. So that open field I just mentioned, I shot my second buck there this year. I was in that island of brush you can see, and he was kind of on that hillside. But this is a big long bottom that field goes all the way down, and they'll come out all through. They bed in this, you know, brushiness. They come up onto that field and they'll walk this edge and they'll come out into the wide open down there. You can see the stand laying on the ground in that tree where I was before, so I could shoot that field a little bit, but I could also shoot out here where they would come out of this bottom and up into the wide open that I just mentioned. So I like being able to shoot both sides of it. Temporarily this fall I put a stand in this tree, which gave me the ability to shoot into this, but it prevented me from shooting that field. I didn't really like it, but it's what I needed to do with the amount of time I had. However, the other thing I didn't like is I had to cross this creek, and this water goes up quick with the smallest rain. Actually, the only time I hunted that stand, my boots were full of water. But looking here, this tree, this skinny tree, has not a lot of cover, but I'm wondering if I get really high above this limb and up into that, close to that fork there, I'll be able to shoot that field. I'll have to cut this brush right in front of me here, but then I can shoot into this opening along this fence. It's a potential option. I don't know yet, but that tree looks like it's dying as well, and it is dead. Yeah, so maybe that's not a good idea. There's just no good tree here. My other option is maybe I'll just get further out here. You can see a big tree in the background right there. Kind of takes me out of things a little bit, but that's not always a bad deal. I'd rather have good entry and exit than be in the middle of everything. So I don't know, thinking out loud. Going to be a lot of that as I decide what I'm going to do for next fall, because I've got to adjust pretty much all of my stands. I'll show you another stand later on that tornado took out as well. I still put my stand back in it, but the whole top of the tree's missing. I'm basically sitting in a giant stump, and of course that tree's not going to last long. So well, I was able to save my favorite ladder stand. This stand was here when I started hunting this property, in this tree obviously, and I've just replaced straps over the years, but I've never seen a ladder stand, it's a buddy stand, quite that big, quite that heavy, double railed, freaking giant bench seat, huge platform. It's awesome. Fortunately, it takes a hell of a tree, which this was for a long time, so it won't be in this spot most likely, but I'm gonna have to find a tree for that stand. I'm just glad I got it out. I was half expecting to hit some metal, cut my face off, ruined my saw, but went pretty good. Did do some sketchy stuff over here to get to this log. You can see where that log fell and hit my ladder, which, you know, that's why you don't use a ladder with a chainsaw, but you can do what you want. Just, if you cut your leg off, that's on you. And I didn't. But I might have broke my foot, but whatever. So anyways, guys, I'm kind of gassed. Got quite a bit of this cut up. And this stuff is heavy. It's hackberry, which is fairly heavy anyway, and it's got a lot of moisture in it. So I'm gonna load that up, get it on the truck, get out of here, and we'll be back to finish cleaning this sucker up, and hopefully finding a new tree stand set up, because I have to hunt this area. It's just too good. Alright, these cameras have been out here since November, I think. Maybe the first weekend of December. It's got 400 pictures. Not bad. 66% battery. That's my favorite thing about these Brownings. The batteries last all year, and there's still plenty left when I put them away. I end up replacing half-used batteries for the following year. I'm close to time to pull these. I usually leave them until I know everything's shed, which early March. Again, it's late January, very late January. So another month and these will be down. Not a whole lot I'm trying to figure out with these, other than who made it and who's still around right now. And it's just fun to look at pictures, as you're all well aware. The other thing I'm doing, this property, stands and everything are fine. I have one stand, I guess, that I might move, so I'll kind of look at that today. But really my goal for today is pull all these cards, see if I can figure out which deer survived, or if there's any new ones that showed up in a search for food. And I would love to find a shed, but two reasons I don't think that's going to happen. One, most of those sheds are still attached to the deer. The other reason is this is my folks' 40 acres, and I've never found a shed. I take that back. I found one shed on this property in 20 years of looking, and it was laying up here in a weird spot that I found in the middle of summer, all chewed up, and I assume had been drug up there by a dog or a coyote or something. I love looking at timber this time of year. Like, you can't see most of that bottom all fall. Then the leaves come off and you get a little snow cover. If you do need to adjust tree stands, or you need to see the lay of the land, right now's the time to do it. Don't wait till August to go scouting and hanging stands. Do it right now. If you don't want your stand sitting out all winter or all summer, then at least figure it out, mark a tree right now. and it's also a lot easier to do cutting. So if you've got brushy areas, like well, say I'm up in this stand, I got a stand right up here, and I'm trying to clear this area out, you can see through it really good right now, and you can get to the base of all of this, you know, honeysuckle and Russian olive, autumn olive, clean it up. But like I said, this spot is good to go. So nothing to do here but ride around. America. Blind was down there, so again, I have no idea how that survived, but it did. So no harm, no foul, baby. I think I'm gonna store this right there. Seems like a good spot for it. Tractor shredder will help that blend in. No sheds. It's about a ½ acre of clover. Again, never found a shed here, so don't really expect it, but this is full of deer usually in the winter, and bucks, shed bucks, half rack bucks. They never drop them here. And this property's not very big, so I would assume, and it's real brushy. I don't walk all that brush. I wait for the measy ones. I'll walk some of it, but for the most part I try to let it go and, you know, sanctuary. Okay, so one more camera to check and I'm done here. You've never driven a 1990s Chevy with a trailer across chisel plow, I would recommend it. Four-wheeler is smashed into the side of the trailer. It's alright. Made out of plastic in the bin. They usually don't do this, but they got me this year. So I checked all my cameras at the other place, and I'm back over here because I think I mentioned the other day that I had a tree stand that got knocked down in that tornado, basically sitting in a stump. I'm going to leave that there for right now, but the rest of that tree is laying next to it. I'm going to cut that up, and then a stand about 100 yards, and not even 100 yards away, also got blown down, and it adjusted the movement in that area because the trees laid down across the path that the deer used to use and now push them out further away from where I need to set up. So I'm just going to do a little modifying of travel routes and get a little bit of firewood and stare at trees and see if I can come up with a game plan. Getting a lot done this weekend makes me happy. Usually I put this off until a week before they're planting and I can't get in here with enough time, so I'm actually on it this year. I'm impressed with myself. We're out of the chisel plow, by the way. Still not the smoothest. Sounded good. It's probably good on tires. But anyway, here's the top of this tree, which was my second favorite tree stand. So obviously I got to figure something out. These deer just moved through this little CRP between this field this brushy bottom. And I don't really have another tree situation unless I get out of this area a little bit. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I've contemplated leaving it there until that tree literally falls over. But we'll think about that some more. But today, I'm going to at least get this cleaned up a little bit. Really just for the firewood. I'll leave the brush where it's at. You actually may recognize this stump. Buck I shot 2 years ago. It died right there in that brush and was standing right about here when I shot it. I could see it come across this top field, grunted at it, it came tearing through the brush, came out here, shot it, ran right underneath me, right past this camera I'm about to check, and it died. Pretty cool. Not sure, that might be, I think that's the second or third buck I've shot out of that tree. Like I said, it's just a really cool spot. You can see that's really thick, and so is that. And rather than charge through this brush, for whatever reason, they'd rather just cut right here in the wide open, and it works out really nice. I just left the tops, basically the brush. Consider stacking and burning it, but I don't want to catch this pasture on fire. Because again, this is not my property. So I figured a little cleanup is fine. Starting fires, I don't know. But got a decent amount of wood there. So what we're going to do now is go check out the third tornado casualty that I mentioned earlier. Just show you all what I'm dealing with. Okay, so let me preface this a little bit. The stand I just showed you and the stand I'm about to show you are completely blocked off by tillable. I can't get back here until the crops come out. That storm I mentioned came through in August. I was able to get to that first stand and found out that it was on the ground. So I hung a stand and a temporary tree there just to get me close and get me through the season. Crops didn't come out here until November, which is why I was hunting so much public this year, which worked out really good. I shot a really nice buck there, and I'm gonna spend some more time there for that reason. Anyway, got in here in November. Sure as shit, both of these stands got hit in the storm. Again, that one top blown out, this one flat on the ground. And this was another one of my temporary trees. I only hunted it one time, but it's not a bad situation. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm actually going to use this skinny tree. Doesn't have a ton of cover. That tree, if I get way up into that fork, is going to give me a pretty good situation, because I can shoot this side hill here. Deer come out of this bottom up onto this hill, and I can shoot into that field and they come out of the bottom right here. Now I'll show you guys real quick what the problem is and what I'm gonna have to work on soon. Just so you know, I'm not whining about all of these changes and the stands getting torn down. It's kind of forced me to do some fun things, because I had this property figured out. I had my stand set year to year. I could just show up, hunt certain winds, certain days, and have a really good shot. I'm completely starting over, and yeah, that's kind of cool. Wouldn't have asked for it to happen, but since it did, it's whatever. That just scared the shit out of me. Okay, so I got a cell cam here. Deer come out of this bottom and funnel right here. That gives them about a 30-35 yard poke to that corner, where they used to come right here behind this tree where that big hackberry is. So I think here in a couple of weeks, maybe next weekend, I'm gonna come cut this up. I'm gonna open a path back through there, and I'm gonna drag the brush over here and close this off, just so I could push deer closer to me. I would rather take a 20-25 yard shot than a 30-35 yard shot. You know, it's a fine balance. You don't want them too close to your stand, but you also don't want to guarantee yourself a long shot, and pretty sure that's the way I'm gonna go. Now, with all that said, where's my, oh, I thought this tree stand was on the ground. I was wrong. It's just smashed, which sucks because that's a really nice muddy stand. Maybe when I get this cut down, I'll climb up, see if I can salvage the stand. I'll cut that limb off of it. Maybe I can save a tree stand. That'd be good. Yeah, you can just see this is the preferred travel route, and there's no possibility of travel here anymore. Yep, pretty sure my best bet will be just to the more I stand here and think about it, the less sure I am that I want to do that. But I got plenty of time to think about it. So that's just going to wrap up this video, guys. I just wanted to show you some of the damage I dealt with. If you guys could comment, let me know if I should get these deer 20-25 yards from my tree or keep them at 30-35. I'm comfortable with that shot, but if it's a windy day, then I'm not. And I have been guilty in the past of trying to get too close, and I don't have a ton of cover. So I'm kind of 50-50 right now. Let me know if you see this before the next video. Maybe I'll take some advice. I for sure will take some advice. Otherwise, I'll sleep on it, see what happens. I guess I'll see you guys later.